everybody, we're getting ready to do lesson 1.5 part 2 of geometry math. So we have 12 points here of classwork and then 16 points of notebook taking, 1.5 part 2 segments and their measures. So in your notebook entry here, find distances by subtracting. So using the diagram to find this distance here, EF, how would we do that? So DF would equal DE plus EF. That's the segment addition postulate. So 16, we plug in values now, equals 10, which is our DE, plus EF would equal 16. And then we just solve for EF, is what we do. We subtract 10 from both sides, and we get 6 equals EF. That's a simple example of that postulate, and that's 4 points. For your notebook. Into our guided practice. Find ST here. So how will we find ST again? By using the segment addition postulate. We know 2 dimensions, so we can find a third by elimination. And then 8 would equal ST. So 23, we plug in 23 equals ST, which is what we're trying to find, plus 15, and we solve for ST. We move this over here and we get 8 equals ST. Congruents in geometry, segments that have the same length are called congruent segments. So use short tick marks to indicate congruent segments like this and like that. That means they're the same. Those are congruent marks. And then words and symbols for that concept. The length AB is equal to the length of CD by means of these congruency marks. So AB would equal CD. If they're congruent, it means they're equal. Segment AB is congruent to segment CD, and this would be the mathematical symbology for that would be an equal sign with a tilde. This is called a tilde up here over an equal sign. Line segment AB is congruent to line segment CD here. That is slide 10. That's classwork on your classwork sheet. And then another notebook entry, line segment AB is congruent to line segment CD. The symbol for indicating congruence is this again. So reiterating that. Yeah, it's congruency. And then into another notebook here, example 4, decide whether segments are congruent. So this is on your homework. Are the segments shown in the coordinate plane congruent? How do we figure that out? For a horizontal segment, subtract the x coordinates. So for horizontal, we need to subtract the x coordinates. So DE would equal 1 minus the -3, which would equal 4. So 1 minus the -3 would equal the absolute value. Distance is absolute. There is no negative distance, so it would equal 4 for that one. And then for vertical segments, subtract the y coordinates. So we're getting in practice here of subtracting x and y coordinates is the idea here. So -3 minus a -1. Then we have an absolute value here of -4, which would be 4. That would be the length of this. So line segment DE and FG have the same length. So line segment DE is congruent to line segment FG. Slide 15, your notebook. Now into our guided practice. This should be on your class worksheet. Decide whether segments are congruent. So plot the points in the coordinate plane, then decide whether AB and CD are congruent. You do the same thing down here. Let's do our guided practice. Plot the points in the coordinate plane. So here are our ordered pairs here. This would be the plot. For these, you have 4 points here, A, B, C, and D. A, B, C, and D. So you plot them first. And then you do your subtraction here. So 3 minus the -2 would equal absolute value of 5. You can also count those off here as 5 units. And then C and D be -1 minus 4. Be a -5, absolute value -5 would be 5. So they're both equal. So they would both be congruent, yes? So AB and CD have the same length, so a line segment AB is congruent to line segment CD. Congruent. And that was lesson 1.5 part 2 of line segments, measuring line segments. If you need any materials, email me here. Thank you very much.